Okay, people, I'm doing my family tree on the Meriweather family, spelled Meriweather today. This is my Granny Gray's former sister-in-law, Mae Meriweather. As you can see, the Meriweather is spelled Meriweather. That's how it originally was spelled back in the day. And then it went on to be Meriweather. Today it's spelled Meriweather. So you see there's three ways to spell Meriweather. Now, my genealogy, I'm doing a research because there's a lot of books about her and her husband, Jim Press Meriwether, who was my great uncle, which was my granny's brother. Now, she was married to him, and he was born in Sandy Ridge, Lowndes County in 1897. He was beaten, killed, shot, and they said hung in August 22nd, 1935. At the time, on the census, he was 38 years old, married to Mae Meriweather, and they lived in Sandy Ridge, Lowndes County. There was one daughter, but I don't think it was my great uncle's daughter. I think it was by her second husband, who is Robert Taylor. But we'll get into that in a few minutes. She also had a daughter, but she never mentioned her name. But she had to be born around 1928, and she was 7 years old in 1935. But they never mentioned her name. And also, Annie Mae, she was the captain of the SCU Women's Auxiliary in Lowndes County, Sandy Spring, Alabama, around Fort Deposit. Now, there was sharecroppers, and she was helping out, and she was the captain of the SCU's Women's Auxiliary in Alabama. I'm trying to find out information. Is there an ancestor out there? Has somebody known her or seen this picture before? Also, this picture is hanging in the Brooklyn Museum by a photographer named Consuela Canega. She's a video photographer, African Americans back in the days in the 1930s. And here's another picture of Annie Mae. Let me try to zoom it in. It's another picture if you can see it. Notice they got Annie Mae Meriweather III on there. For some reason, I don't know why. It has that. But it's in the Brooklyn Museum. The Museum of Modern Art in Brooklyn, New York is hanging up there. If anybody knows anything, feel free to write on my blog. Okay, I've been doing my genealogy about my family tree. And I'm at a roadblock. And they are in a lot of books. If you Google her name, Annie Mae Meriweather, you'll see some of my blogs and some of my writings about it, about how they worked on a plantation, and one plantation was making more money, like $1.65, and they was making like 65 cents. Her husband Jim, and he protested. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but there are books about it and everything. If you can look on my blog and read it. And he even talked to President Roosevelt about this situation. Yes, President Franklin D. Roosevelt. And then she also have an affidavit out there. It's out there on the website telling what happened to her, how she was beat, hung, but she lived to tell about it. And I remember my granny's telling people about, family members about it, but she really didn't talk about it. So I decided to do some history to find out about it. And that's how I found out all about what was going on. Well, okay, let me show you some more pictures. Well, rather, after Annie Mae wasn't with my great uncle no more, she fled and left Alabama after he was killed. And she ran off to Birmingham, Alabama, and she married a guy named Robert Taylor. And here I have their marriage paper bond, if you can see that. Let me get that light away from it so you can see. And here is the paper. Try to keep it steady as I can. It says Robert Taylor. He was 37 years old at the time. And Annie Mae Meriweather was 27. And they got married February 25th, 1936, as you can see. And looks like a Reverend in her. That's what it looked like. So she left Lowndes County and flee with her 7-year-old daughter. And here's her marriage bond to Robert Taylor. So if anybody know about Annie Mae, feel free to log in my blog. I'm at a roadblock. I'm just trying to find out whatever happened to Annie Mae. What's the mystery behind it and what happened? And also, let me get my other paper. Okay. Right here you can see they got Robert Taylor married Annie Mae. As you know, his Meriweather again is spelled Meriweather at the time. But today, add another R in there, and that's how we spell it today. If anybody know anything about it, feel free to look on my blog. If anybody can identify her picture, anybody got this picture, it might be hanging in their house today. Anybody know anything, they can help me with my research and find out about Annie Mae. In this picture, she was 27 years old, and she took a picture, and they was taking pictures of African Americans, and African Americans were telling their stories. And like I said, you can look on the blog, and you can Google her name. I got blogs out there, and you can read about stuff about her. And if you need help on my research right now, I'm on a roadblock right now. And once again, I'm looking at this other picture. It's another picture of Annie Mae. My roadblock. I'm trying to find out about my peoples. That was in Sandy Ridge, Lowndes County, Alabama. It's the Meriweather family. Also, the other name is Gray family, spelled Gray. And it says, if anybody know anything, seen this picture, you can help me out with my research. So, and that's all I have. If anybody can help me out, hit me up. Thanks.